Ellyn, thanks so much for joining me here today on The Ripple Effect with Ray. We've got Ellyn Ito here, co-founder and CEO of InnerStill. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure and my honor. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me, our listeners, a little bit more about InnerStill and why did you choose to start it?
Yeah. So InnerStill is a neuromodulation company that is launching devices that help the body to rebalance and restore homeostasis. It's a big word. It basically means balance, as well as to support neurometabolic functions. And we have two devices. One is a general wellness device that is really great at engaging the rest, digest, and recover function of the body. And the other is a non-invasive deep brain stimulator, all ultra low current, that helps the body to clear out waste and normalize those metabolic processes. So symptoms related to dementia are delayed or in some cases reversed.
It's incredible. And I know you have a quite interesting story of how it's helped some people in your circle. Can you walk me through either maybe an example of someone and what did they come to you with and how did it help them?
Sure, yeah. Gosh, so to be clear, so our technology that's out right now is called MindVibe. It is the only multi-mode ultra low current vagus nerve and acupressure point stimulator. And in that, it engages that rest, digest, and recover function. And so I actually came to help form this company because my son became very dysregulated. He became suicidal during the pandemic. And he was 15 at the time. And I really wanted to avoid medications if I could, just because I wasn't sure how much of it was puberty versus the pandemic. And so I started trying, I was with another neurostim company at the time, started trying a bunch of neurostimulators that either created sensation that really bothered him, heightened his anxiety, or it took too long to work. And then I was introduced to the founders of this technology by this woman named Dr. Beth Dupree, who's a world-renowned breast surgeon and also an integrative doctor. And she sends all her patients to use this tech. And she said, I know that this could help David. And so the first time my son went on this machine, it was as if his body just took a breath. And it was something that was of huge relief to me as a mom. It was of huge relief to him. I could see it on his face. This was back in 2021. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to get this business going. And since then, I've seen just so many lives transformed. Again, we as a society have kind of normalized these chronic symptoms of stress, right? These symptoms of ADHD, this scatteredness, this inability to focus, the inability to get a good night's sleep. And what we find with MindVibe is it really helps to settle that part of the nervous system for a reset.
That's incredible. What an incredible story. And it's not like something that you have to like make it up or think of something to recognize that it works, right?
Exactly. And
Like,
yes, so one of the really beautiful things about the technology is that you don't have to think happy thoughts for it to work. You don't have to focus on a screen or follow a ball or anything like that. You can have the device on, you can be doing homework, you can be playing music, you can be watching TV, you can sleep, and it will engage the parasympathetic, the rest, digest, and recover function so that it naturally balances you. And that's really great for people who are stuck in a state of stress. Like, how many people have you talked to who, you know that, for example, meditation is a really great thing. But when you're stressed out, the idea of being quiet for 3 minutes is like 30 seconds, it's hard to do. And
exactly.
so by being able to put this on, some people have described it as being meditation in a box because it just gently moves you along that path.
Exactly. You brought up such a great point because when somebody is completely in fight or flight mode and you tell them to meditate and they close their eyes and they're just expected to clear all those thoughts. It's like using a computer that has 30 different tabs open, and then you're telling that person to, and then it's like, close them all.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's no, those tabs are running in the background. Even if they meditate for a minute or 2 minutes, okay, maybe they closed out like three or four tabs, but the system's still running like slowly, still in this like fight or flight mode.
That's
They're
right.
not accessing necessarily the parasympathetic, and then they give up
Yeah.
before they can actually get to that rest and relaxation state. So this is
Yes.
that, and then they're like, oh, meditation doesn't work for me. I can't meditate,
Or
right?
they're like, I'm a failure. I can't do this.
I can't do this.
And that's like
Exactly.
even worse, right?
Right.
Because it's your
Uh-huh.
nervous system that has you stuck. And yeah, we have talked to people who have said things like, oh, this is what calm feels like. Once they know what it feels like, it's easier to get there on your own. And so we've had both my kids now meditate,
Yeah.
whereas back in the day, they weren't able to access that. And that's what we see with a number of what we call vibers, people who use our technology.
Exactly. That's amazing because then they're able to then access this space, knowing what it feels like, and then they can actually get there on their own, which is just
Exactly.
that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want them to be able to find that within themselves,
Yeah.
and
We
not
see
have
this
to
as a
rely on.
tool
Exactly.
that
Yeah.
accelerates that parasympathetic engagement.
Mm,
So we have had people who meditate on a regular basis who have used our technology and like it because they feel like it gets them into that theta state that much more quickly,
yeah.
or it heightens what they call their third eye. They feel more intuitive. And so we think about our technology as being anything that supports somebody on the continuum from floundering, you're really stuck, you're PTSD, you're stuck in trauma, where this helps to bring you out of it, to somebody who's flourishing, who wants to up level, who wants to gain more focus, who wants to gain more intuitiveness.
Yeah, exactly. It just helps them get to that
Yeah,
next level, that state that they want but have no idea how to get there,
that's
right?
right. That's
Which is
exactly
just
right.
absolutely, I want everyone that's listening, I want everyone out there in the world to know that there's tools for them that exist that
Yes. And
um
there are, and this is both a blessing and a curse for us, our technology as a whole,
yeah,
in that there are a number of vagus nerve stimulators that are out there and they are efficacious. They do work. What's different about their technology versus our technology is our multi-mode stimulation along with the ultra low current creates this very efficacious, powerful engagement without any sensation,
okay,
out that feeling that you're getting this electrical current. And the
sure.
other thing is that our technology auto regulates. You don't need to set parameters. It's impossible for you to know what you need to
Absolutely.
achieve balance just based on sensation or what is comfortable. And our technology is optimized to support about 90% of the people out there in terms of the optimal frequencies and algorithms for balance.
Very cool. So it has multiple different settings. It's not like you just turn it on, 20 minutes, you're done.
Actually, no. There is no need to set parameters because the optimized parameters are built in. It does is it auto regulates and auto adjusts to each person's own impedance and delivers the frequencies in a way that avoids any sort of overuse or hyperpolarization. That's saturation. So if you get too much of things, you can boomerang or it will stop working. Our technology is designed really for use as much as you need to use it.
Wow, very interesting. And what have you been seeing in the industry as far as these types of technologies? What have you been seeing as just technology
Yeah,
advances?
I am so excited about the neuromodulation industry.
Yeah.
And what I'm excited about it is that we're seeing really strong efficacy around certain modalities. And we know that some of the standard care modalities, kind of pharmacological primacy, can create these side effects that many people doesn't agree with over time, particularly on a chronic basis. And so this offers an option. Our technologies in particular offer options that are adjunctive to kind of standard care therapy that actually helps with balance. And so I'm excited about the options for side effect free modalities that really have efficacy, they're evidence based, and they're being transformative.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
And
Amazing.
the other thing I can't stop talking about is this brain health economy.
Yeah.
So we know, like we've all heard how mental health, 1 in 4 people are struggling with mental health. And mental health, the symptoms show up in ways of poor sleep, poor productivity, poor lack of focus, poor connection with one another. And we know that our economy runs on people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk about AI replacing human thought. But the reality is that human connection always has to be there. And there's a huge economy now that we know centers around humans, human health, brain health leads to longevity, clean, safe ways of brain health modalities help to reduce long-term chronic disease costs. So we're seeing a lot of conversation around this, and neuromodulation has a huge part to play in that.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. And yeah, I think there's, especially when you've seen the use cases of what's possible, you're even better suited to realize, hey, this is the future. This is where we need to be. And just to say, hey, all of this mental health, it does not, I think there's a time and place for medication. Why not explore, okay, let's see how we can actually rewire the brain
Yeah.
first before we resort to something that does make you a little reliant rather than this is a tool to help you get there. What would you say has been a big pain point in business recently?
Yeah, I think that a big pain point is just the educational aspects associated with neuromodulation.
Sure.
And the standard of care is a doctor spends 10 minutes with the patient and
Yeah.
writes some script.
Yeah.
We know that for whole health healing, it takes more than 10 minutes in a script. And helping to open minds to the data and the evidence that we have around efficacy for these modalities, helping consumers understand that there are other options out there and to think outside of the box. That whole process around education takes time and it takes effort. And when people are stressed out, the idea of thinking about something different is really hard. We're dealing with a population of people that, yes, they may be looking for other options, but it just may be too much to think about something new. But we are seeing that with demonstrations and with deployments, that people are understanding how powerful these modalities can be.
Absolutely. I think you bring up a really interesting point about the education piece. I'm sure people that are open to alternative modalities, they probably know about you. Maybe they're finding out about you. Maybe they know about neurostimulation. People in the longevity space, they all are familiar with this alternative practice. But how are you opening up the minds of the people that are so used to the traditional way? Is that a market that you're trying to tap into? But what does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. So that's like such a meaty question. I will say that we, as a small startup, we are first going for the low hanging fruit. So
100%.
those we've launched MindVibe as a general wellness technology to treat symptoms of wellness.
Mm,
And so we are going first through the consumer route to those early adopters.
sure.
And through that groundswell, we are actually talking with doctors because those consumers have doctors that they are excited about and wellness practitioners. So psychotherapists, PTs, behavioral health counselors, integrative doctors, they're all engaging with our technology as well as consumers. I know that in order to get this more broadly adopted, we will need to take a version of this through an FDA pathway to get it cleared for an indication. And
Mhm.
that is in our plans, because once that happens, that FDA clearance for a medical device that treats anxiety and depression will eventually get coverage through insurers. And that will make it much easier for doctors to be able to just look through and say, okay, this is approved, we're going.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And
Yeah.
I love that plan. I think it's beautiful to actually see the trajectory of where this technology is headed, just how truly massive of an impact it has the potential to have. I'm sure you probably get so excited about that vision and that mission. So where would you say you hope to be in the next even just short term, like 6, 12 months from now?
Oh, yeah. So 6 to 12 months, we want to make sure we're getting our devices out for home testing. So right now we're launching through practitioners.
Mm,
We've already done 4 IRB governed studies, and we have just a trove of real world evidence. And
mm,
so, what we're doing now over the next 12 months is getting a small set of devices out to consumers to really understand the home experience while we are continuing to launch with our practitioners. And from that experience, we really want to understand what our consumers want. Do they like a subscription device? Do they prefer a device that they just turn on, no app? Do they like the app that has biometrics involved? Which headset do they like? We have a couple of different headsets we're playing with. And so we really want to do that in market testing. And then we'll continue to generate studies. And with funding, we're doing a fundraise right now. We will be able to use part of that to take a version of MindVibe through a 510K pathway. But then we also have our other non-invasive deep brain stimulator that we will start testing for dementia. We've already had 33 people on it. Again, ultra low current, no side effects, that we're starting to see some exciting results from. And so we will take that through clinical studies.
amazing. I will thank you for sharing all of that
Sure.
and in the middle of my coughing fit, which thankfully did not make it onto the recording.
That's great.
But that's just so incredible of just the different types of ways that you're able to use this technology. It's not just a one-stop shop. Okay, how can we really utilize this for different types of populations? With all
Yeah,
that
and
being, yeah.
that's part of our challenge too, because so MindVibe treats
Mm,
the root cause of autonomic nervous system balance. We've been able to show that through heart rate variability. We've included that in a couple of our studies. So we treat that root cause of autonomic nervous system imbalance, which have symptoms when you're out of balance that include things like stress, mood swings, neuropathic pain, poor sleep, and so addiction. So by treating that underlying imbalance, we see improvements in many areas related to wellness.
absolutely. That's the big thing is that what is that root cause when it comes to all of these different autonomic nervous system behaviors,
Yeah,
right? Like addiction, whether it's addiction, like drinking, substance abuse, whatever it is, they are clearly, there's a dysregulation. They're trying to escape their everyday life.
that's right.
And so if we can address why and what is it that is causing them trying to escape, stress, unhappiness, they can't like reach their happiness, so they find these other ways of finding their happy, these temporary places where they can get some dopamine hits or whatever it might
That's right.
be. But what if it's just actual lasting joy? So if it's just some little rewiring through some microcurrents. So I think that's just absolutely revolutionary. I'm so excited to see how things unfold. Ellyn, thank you so much for being here today on the Ripple
My
Effect
pleasure.
Q&A. How and where can people find you?
www.innerstillhealth.com, or you can email me at ellen@innerstillhealth.com. And we
Amazing.
are also on LinkedIn, Instagram, that sort of thing.
Love the places. Thank you again, Ellyn. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much.